What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Matt of Pig and Matt here. So, in between all the weeks of playing Burn, Stun, and a variety of decks to say fuck your locals, this week I decided to play something simple, casual, and it's still a control deck. Let's go. Let's be real with you. Alright. I decided to play Crystal Beast this week. Why? Well, one, somebody in my locals, he bought the structure decks and was looking for a build for his nephew that was fairly easy to play. And two, my wife is a big fan of Ruby Carbuncle here. She thinks it looks like Espeon. So I decided to say, fuck it, let's build this deck. So this is my take on Crystal Beast. So start out for the Crystal Beast. I play 2 copies of Ruby Carbuncle. Not once per turn, summons the guys from your spell zone. Next up, 3 copies of Crystal Beast Sapphire Pegasus. Probably the best card in the deck. Summon it, puts a guy in there, not once per turn. 1800, win, level 4, let's go. Next up, 3 copies of Crystal Beast Rainbow Dragon. This card is neat. You banish it to special the Crystal Beast from your deck, negate its effect. Oh, and it adds the 1 of Rainbow Dragon from your deck to your hand, which you have to play the Rainbow Dragon to utilize that effect. But the biggest thing about this card is that it is level 8 and it has 3000 attack, which is really, really good. So, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but in terms of Crystal Beast monsters, this is all I ran. I know in future iterations I will definitely put 1, maybe 2 more names in the deck, because there were games where I completely ran out of resources. And this guy being unsummonable, well, it really meant nothing to me. But, yeah, I do know at the very least I do want to play 1 more name. I'm just not sure which name that's going to be. It's raining. Alright, so now on to more your control and other cards to play. 3 copies of maybe the best card ever printed that's not named Crane Crane. Kashtira Fenrir. This card eats boards all on its own and applies way more pressure than you need. 2 copies of Dino Wrestler Pankratops. Good, cheap board breaker. If you don't own these for some fucking reason, you can play this and then some more hand traps. That's completely viable in and of itself. But I have the 5 best board breakers in Yu-Gi-Oh!, so I'm going to play them. Although, I will also admit that sometimes I kind of just wanted to play more hand traps in this deck. But I didn't. Instead, the only hand trap I played was this card. 3 copies of Dimension Shifter. Which, fun fact, if it's common, you will see it. And you will ruin everyone's day. So that's the monster count. I think it's like 17 monsters. Pretty slim to the point. Everything does something. Part of me wanted to play like a Nib or something. And when you get to the sideboard, you'll see the other hand trap I usually opted to put in, but I didn't mate it because this is mostly a going second, break their board and beat them deck. Alright, so now for spells, for consistency, you play 3 Crystal Bond, 1 Golden Rule, and 2 copies of Awakening of the Crystal Ultimates. This is the other reason I wanted to play more names. Sometimes I would get these and they would be dead if my game drew on any longer. Because this has to put 2 in the spell and trap zone in order to get your guy. And yeah, really sucks when you don't have anything to do. This card's neat. Because it can add a Rainbow Bridge card. So it can add 1 of your 3 Rainbow Bridge of the Hearts. Or 1 of your 3 Rainbow Bridge. Which Rainbow Bridge adds any of these cards, because they're all crystal cards. Which is really cool. And Bridge here is especially neat, because when a guy gets put into the spell and trap zone, it bounces itself in one of their cards. So unless they're playing Makanko, that target bounce is really, really good. Yeah. So that's a lot of Crystal Beast cards. And I'm just going to show it at this part because it's the only 2 traps I played in the deck. I played 1 Miracle and 1 Conclave. Similar thing, just a target sends bounce. Really, really good. This is just an Omni Negate. That also has a neat graveyard effect that you can proc. But, yeah. And for consistency, I played 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity. Because of your extra deck, you can actually OTK through this card, which is weird to say. I just never did it. 3 Forbidden Droplet. Again, I told you I was playing a Ghost second deck. And this is just a non-targeting Mass Negate. And then the last 3 cards in the deck are Change of Heart, Called by the Grave, and Harpy's Feather Duster. Board Breaker, get rid of back row, stop a Droll, Lockwood, or Nash. So that's the deck. 40 cards, plain and simple, to the point. Alright, so now for the extra deck. I played a Nightmare Phoenix, a Unicorn, and an Underworld. You could probably just play 2 of this and not either of these. I don't know. Or if you have a Little Knight, obviously play that. I didn't really have too many instances where I felt like I needed to link, so I might just put in weirder, funkier, like kind of situational cards. Alright, so now to my extensive exceeds. The Zodiac package of Chakanai and Arcosa. One of my favorite exceeds ever printed, Lightning Chidori, because you play Pegasuses, which are winds. And this card is awesome. 1 Abyss Dweller and 1 Baguska for control. There was one game I didn't OTK them, and I legit made this and a card you're going to see here shortly. And in another game, I just used this until I could get to my resources. So yeah, these cards are really good. 1 copy of Cowboy for Game. There was 1 match. I won both games by getting him down to less than 800 and then pew-pewing him. It was really funny. 1 number 60 Nagash Timeless. This is part of the big OTK with Carbuncle. The 100 with the 2 dragons. The Draglubion. I wanted to have an extra target because there's one game where I made this with 2 level 8 guys. But most of the time you just kind of make this, or yeah, you make this, summon this, and then you double its attack with this, and you can hit them for game. But sadly today I didn't actually accomplish that. And then the last Exceed monster, 1 copy of Double A Zeus. Because you got the little Zodiac package. Alright, now to the sideboard. I sided some Bystials. They were pretty good. You probably want to main Ash Blossom. I wasn't sure how much fire I was going to run into. And since I was primarily focusing on breaking their board and going second, I didn't feel the need to main this, but you probably can. It's probably better if you do. 3 copies of Dimensional Fissure. Because basically when you side, if you're going first, you just play a control deck. Which is also why there's the Necro Valley, the Rainbow Bridge. And I opted for a Zombie World, because I knew there was 1 Flu player, and it's just shits on Flu. Otherwise, Necro Valley does the rest of the work for you. And lastly, 3 copies of Dimensional Barrier. For the off chance, go against Tenpai. And you play the game of, no, you go first. No, you go first, I insist. So there you have it. My Crystal Beast deck profile. For future changes, it's for sure I'm going to add another name and maybe play more hand traps. I'm much like this over the combo version because I don't have to deal with brain rot. The plays are pretty linear, and or they just get the point done. And yeah, this deck is neat. If there's any changes or stuff that you like to do with your version of this deck, let me know in the comment section down below. Otherwise, this is Meh of Pig and Meh signing out.